Good morning team, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a little bit shorter but hopefully a lot more informative. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through a hip mobility flow workout that you can do at home. So keeping those hips mobile is massively crucial for functional fitness. Really helps benefit with movements like squats, snatch, cleans, and just general life as well. Keeping those hips nice and mobile will help you get about your daily lives a bit easier. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through 3 movements. I'm going to run through a minute of each of them with you, kind of talk you through what I'm looking for every movement. So I'm going to take you through a whole round of each one, and then what I want you to do after that is go and complete another 2 more rounds. So total, you've got 3 rounds of these 3 movements. Each one is going to be a minute each, and this first one I'll go through with you and kind of explain what we're looking for with each one. Let's go. Right, so the first one we've got, one of my favourites for opening up the hips, and one that I will perform before most lower body workouts, is the 1990 stretch. Okay, so what we're looking for with this one is we're going to get both of our legs, move back so you can see, both of our legs, we're trying to make kind of a right angle with each of them. Okay, so we're going to start on one side, both knees facing the same way, and then what we're going to do is rotate over to the other side from there. Okay. If your hips are tight, like mine are this morning, what we're going to do is we're going to have our hands behind our back here, and we're just going to use our hands to support us as we go across from there like that. Okay, so we're going to use my iPad as my timer, so you can do it along with me. So once we're ready, we'll start for a minute. So start across, make that right angle. Like I said, using my arms at the back, slowly coming across, really put the twist in here. Across there, just to open up that hip. Okay, as we come across, twist so that that one goes across, and we really maximize that twist as best we can like that. Okay, and what you'll find is as this loosens up, this might not happen in your first time doing these, but as you've done it a few times and things start loosening up in your hips, what you'll be able to do is just go without any hands. Just focus on using your hips, using your legs to perform the movement. So hold your hands out like that, okay? But for now, just worry about getting the right stretch in. Focus on twisting, getting those hips nice and open, and twisting across, just like that. Okay, so that is 1 minute, like that. Nice and easy, okay? So that's the first exercise, that is the 1990 stretch. The second stretch we're going to do is called the dynamic night stretch. So this one is quite simple. You've probably seen it done a fair few times. All right, what we're going to do, you're going to drop onto one knee. One knee's going to be out in front of you. All right, what I'm looking for is a straight shin and a straight quad on both of these legs. I can already feel my hip stretching out here. So what we're going to do with this front knee is we're going to make small circles, and we're going to lean forward into it and back around like that. Keeping this core on our back nice and tight, so we don't want to be leaning forward and kind of leaning into it. We want to keep our abs engaged. We want to lean forward, make little circles, and come back and sit back into it. Okay, so this is going to stretch the hip out here, and as we sit back, it's also going to stretch out a little bit the quad and hip as we come back. Okay, so what we're going to do for this round is we're going to do 30 seconds on each leg. Okay, so we'll start the timer. Nice slow circles. Keeping back nice and upright, abs engaged from here. Okay, so from there, small rotations, small circles, make sure we're feeling the stretch across our hip with each movement. Okay, so stretching out as we go forward, and then just sucking back in and stretching it again as we return to that start position almost as well. Okay, so 2 more seconds on this leg, and then we're going to perform the exact same movement on the other leg. Just small little rotations with that front knee, leading into it, keeping yourself nice and tight and upright with that one. Perfect. So again, if this is too easy for you, or you want to make this more of a stretch, what you can do is add a band to this rear leg, and that'll push the stretch even further and open up your hips a bit more if this is a little bit too easy for you. Perfect. Right, that is a minute of that one done. So that second one there was called the dynamic night stretch. And lastly, we have got the squat to stand. This is a really good one if you've got a squat movement coming up for the day. It doesn't only open up your hips, it opens up your hamstrings and your quads at the same time. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to be feet shoulder width apart like we're doing a squat. We're going to squat down, we're going to go as deep as we can into that squat. Okay, for now I'm not worried about kind of rounding my back or anything like that. I'm just worried about getting into a position here and open up my hips. Then what we're going to do is hook our fingers underneath our feet and we're going to sit back into that squat position, and then we're slowly going to raise our bum up, keeping our arms locked, and that's going to stretch out our hamstrings here. So it's almost a hip stretch here and a hamstring stretch just there. Okay, like I say, I'm not worried about kind of rounding back or anything like that. I am just worried about opening up your hamstrings and getting as deep into that squat position as we can. Okay, so 1 more minute of this one. So feet shoulder width, maybe point your toes out a little bit, feet hooked on, nice and deep in that squat position, and then we come up, stretch out the hamstrings, nice to slowly return to that deep squat position. So with this one, nice and slow, controlled movements the whole time, really making sure we're stretching things out, both our hips and our hamstrings in both different positions. So here, hips, as we come up, hamstrings, like that. As you'll see and feel, things will get looser as you go on. Okay, so the further through this minute you go, the further you'll be able to sit into that squat position, and the straighter you'll be able to get your legs. Okay, 15 seconds to go. 1 or 2 more in. A nice deep squat. Stretch those hamstrings out and return. So that is your 3 hip movements. You're going to perform those for another 2 rounds for a minute each. Taking your time, get your breathing right. If you're doing these before you go and train, get some music on, start thinking about your workout. If you're just doing this to open up your hips on maybe a Sunday or a Saturday, take your time, plenty of breathing, think about how your training went over the course of the day, what you can do better, and just focus on getting the right stretches into the right areas. So that is my hip opening routine. Thank you for watching. If you're not already, please subscribe and like this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.